Hello, we are your teachers for today. So we're gonna share you the approaches for teaching language, the task-based language teaching. Did you know how to make language meaningful, therefore memorable? And how can we done it more polished? Well, I know some of us has a lack of idea how to recycle it naturally. Well, allow me to cover it and let's go to discover it. What is task? Task is a piece of work that must be done, especially one that is difficult or that must be done regularly. To give someone the responsibility for doing something. Any activity that learners engage in the process of learning a language. What is task-based language teaching? Task-based language teaching is an approach which offers students opportunities to actively engage in communication in order to achieve a goal or a complete task. It was first developed in the 1980s by N. Prabhu in Bangalore, southern India. Prabhu believed that students may learn more effectively when their minds are focused on the task rather than on the language they are using. How can we use task-based in the classroom? The task-based makes the performance of meaningful tasks central to the learning process. Some concrete examples of tasks are preparing a meal, solving a problem, ordering food in a cafe, compiling qualities of a good friend, talking to someone on the phone. Task-based language teaching constitutes a strong version of communicative language teaching. Teacher's dominant authority turns into teacher guiding in TBLT. Teacher-centered learning, or PPP, becomes learner-centered.
Why do we use a task-based approach? Tasks can be easily related to students' real-life language needs. They create context that facilitates second language acquisition. Tasks create opportunities for focusing form. Students are more likely to develop intrinsic motivation in a task-based approach. A task-based approach enables teachers to see if students are developing the ability to communicate. We have two types of focusing form. First is the overriding focus in a form-focused classroom is meaning or communication. And the second one is attention to form arises incidentally in response to communicate need. We have two types of approach. First is the theory of language. It primarily a means of making meaning. Multiple models of language inform task-based instruction. Lexical units are central in language use and language learning. Fourth one is conversation is the center focus of language and the keystone of acquisition. Second is the theory of learning. Tasks provide the input and output processing necessary for language acquisition. Task activity and achievement are motivational. We have principles. Making errors is natural and is considered as part of the process in acquiring the target language. Learning tasks facilitating learners to engage in interaction are essential. Learners need to be encouraged to produce the target language facilitate learning. Focus on form is necessary. Language learning tasks should be varied to cater for the needs for both extrovert and introvert learners.
The framework for TBL instruction. The pre-task, task cycle, and the post-task. Let's tackle first the pre-task. Pre-task phase of a TBL lesson is a moment when the teacher sets the task, contextualizes the topic of the lesson, raises students' interest, and prepares learners to perform the task. When preparing students to perform a task, teachers might need to help students with both content and language. Examples are use materials such as picture, text, or song, etc. that lead into topic. Second one is brainstorming, comparing ideas, sharing experiences. Third one is provide illicit vocabulary.
Provide model, exploit role play. And last, do a similar task.
Second one is the task cycle. It relates core competencies to operational performance and interpersonal relations. The focus is on the interaction between the person who is in charge of the performance and carrying out the task. Examples are pair work and small group versus the whole class. Introduce a surprise element. Set a time for completing the task. Vary the numbers of participants. Tell students they will have to present a report to the whole class. Third one is the post-task. This stage is when students evaluate their performance. It can also involve feedback provided by the teacher and subsequent practice of language items that emerge from the task. Examples are students give a report. Second one is repeat the task. Third one, consciousness raising activity. Fourth one is students listen to a recording or watch a clip or fluent speakers doing the same task and compare their task. Teacher gives feedback and evaluates the success of the task. What are the advantages? The advantages are task-based language teaching is applicable and for students of all ages and backgrounds. Second one is students are free to use whatever vocabulary and grammar they know, rather than just the target language of the lesson. Third, encourages students to be more ambitious in the language they use. TBLT or task-based language teaching allows meaningful communication. We have also the disadvantages. Task-based instruction is not teacher-centered and it requires individual and group responsibility and commitment of the part of the students. Evaluation of task-based learning can be difficult. The nature of task-based learning prevents it from being measurable by some of the more restricted and traditional tests. To sum it up, task-based language teaching is based on the principle that language learning will progress most successfully. Teaching aims to simply to create context in which the learner's naturally language learning capacity can be nurtured rather than making a systematic attempt to teach the language bit by bit.